And welcome back. It's now 11 minutes away from 7 o'clock, and as promised before the break, we're sitting down with our friends from Grace to talk about their new calendar for 2016. Joining us for this conversation, we have a Senior Brand Manager, Trudy Swasso, and we have the General Manager, Marcelo Blake. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning to you too, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, yeah. You know, that's one of the conversations. How long do you continue saying Happy New Year that people tend to have?
I think it's up until the 6th, isn't it?
I think it's the first time you see the person.
Yeah.
So if it's June.
So tomorrow I don't have to tell you.
So if it's June, you see them. Okay. Happy New Year. Now, of course, the Grace calendar has become a staple in many households.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the recipes that are built in to the calendar. So let's talk a little bit about the history and where we are today as well.
Oh, Marcella is looking at, actually, well, since I've been at Grace Kennedy, the calendar was already there, and every year we try to find ways in order for us to be more creative, because it's the creative cooking calendar, but people also want to ensure that it's a delight to look at. And so we started out where we used to have competitions where persons enter in recipes, and then we take the top 12 recipes. And then we started to get into the schools, where we know a lot of schools actually do have home economics in their classes. And so we brought in schools. And then last year we focused on the Grace We Care theme, which we had persons from in the community who are part of different groups giving back to the community. And this year we are in-house, so having to do with the We Care theme, I actually prefer that Marcelo focus more on that part.
The We Care team this year is extending beyond where we started last year. So it's really a continuation. Last year we looked at, like we said, persons in the community who have been assisting. And so this year now what we're doing is looking at persons helping individuals. So it's kind of passing on the love, an old team, under the We Care, where an individual is then seeking out another individual that they'll be assisting. So we did it with our sweepstakes last year, where we had the winner actually donate the appliances that she was replacing and donated it to various other persons who she felt could make good use of them. So it's building on that, that we have put together the 2016 Creative Cooking Calendar, using the same We Care team from last year, but basically adding a different spin to it.
When you look at something like this, and Trudy alluded to it, coming up with a new concept every year, but yet going in-house to make sure that it ties in with the philosophy and the ethos of the company, what's the reaction from staff when what's your think tank like at work to come up with something like this?
We ask about the recipes. There must be one for the calendar.
For the calendar, it's always just trying to find the next new thing. We're happy to be trendsetters, at least we think we are. And so for the selection this year, we looked at our own employees. I mean, we will be 34 years this year operating in Belize. And we have persons featured in our calendar from our staff members from 25 years down to about 6 years. And so it's kind of giving back to them as a level of recognition, but also working them at the same time, because as you see, the recipes in here are all contributed by members of our team.
Yeah.
So for those 12 individuals that were selected to be a part of the calendar, each of them were tasked then to go out and develop a recipe that they like, something that's a reflection of them. And we went as far as to allow them to, where we could, select the month.
Yes.
So, like me, I chose July because my birthday is in July. And, you know, position trumps all. So, but all members of staff got the opportunity to actually be able to reflect.
Yeah.
And through the recipes, be a reflection of themselves to the community.
Here's what I like about that. essentially, and we always talk about it in any business place, your employees are one of your greatest ambassadors.
Yes.
They head out there, they'll talk about your product, they'll either sell it or not sell it. Being able to get your employees to put together the recipes. I've asked before how many of you really have a pantry stacked with Grace products. You always say yes. What was it like for the rest of the team in terms of having it published and everybody would see just how great their cooking skills are and using the different products?
One great thing I have to say is that we chose the persons, like Marcella said, based on years of service to Grace Kennedy Belize Limited. And in that case, it wasn't, okay, how do we choose of our 50-odd members, how do we choose who will be able to submit the 12 recipes? And so we started, Marcella gave me the list of the 12 persons based on years of service, and then we started with them. Would you like to participate in this year's calendar to submit a recipe? We all know we're not going to do the same thing this year for 2017. So this is your chance to be able to do this. And we had persons who were jumping for joy, already ready. You know, we had persons submitting more than 2 recipes that was required. Some people we had to chase behind, you know, and remind them of the deadline. But it was a lot of fun. Even when we did our cover shot, which we did at Salvation Army, which is one of the schools that we work with every single year. And I guess Mars can talk to us more about that because he's featured on the cover anyways. So.
Let me just interject here for a second because there's going to be a scroll coming up very soon, and we don't want to not let people know that they can get a calendar. So tell us about that before we talk about what it looks like.
Okay, so the scroll is actually, you're going to just text your name and where you're located, be it Dangriga or you want to put Stan Creek, and that's all you need to do. So it's Grace Calendar,
and where you are,
and we'll be able to get in touch with you. If you're a Digicel customer, it's 1010-293. So you just text in the body of the mail, of the text, Grace Calendar, and you put your name. And what we're doing, last year we did 1 calendar per person.
Okay.
This year, because we're talking about the Grace Week here and passing on the love, you will get 2 calendars. And 1 calendar should be for you and 1 calendar for someone else. Be it your neighbor, your friend, your cousin.
Thank you, Marlene.
And for smart customers, it's 47223. And we know we'll have the repeat of this show. So likewise, those persons who text in on
so they can text in the live or repeat?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
So if you want your calendar, definitely look out for the numbers that are coming up, and you can be able to get the calendar, 2 calendars, one for you and 1 for share.
Yes.
All right, but let's go back to your work with Salvation Army.
That work started under the previous general manager with Alberto Young, and I believe he was a member of their board, and hence the reason why it was something dear to him. And we've continued it year after year, and we try to improve. We've been working with Major King, and she doesn't forget us in making sure that we're on time and making sure that the kids get what they need. Our team also assists on a quarterly basis to go in and actually do preparation. So what you see there on the calendar is actual, it's not staged. We're actually cooking, right? And so, you know, kind of preparing a breakfast that they'll start the day with, and they provide that to 200 plus students every day. The entire school year. So it is in fact a great initiative for us to partner with in order to be able to give back to the community.
And you all cook every day?
No.
Oh, okay.
Once a quarter. Once a quarter.
Quarterly.
We get the team together and we go down and we cook and we, you know, talk to the kids. Some of them are really, really loving and take to our employees. Featured here, Charlene is our accounts payable clerk. And she is one of those persons who have been with us 15 plus years.
Okay.
And for some reason,
So they develop a
individual
mentorship type of relationship?
Well, actually, we haven't gotten there yet. It's something we've talked about so many times. What we don't want to do is to start and not be able to continue. And that's why, like Marcella says, we try every year to get better. We have 6 students that we offered scholarship to, and that started from last year. And we continued on with them, and there's 6 great children. And I don't want to say that just because we're helping them out, but you get to learn a lot more about them, you know, their stories, whatever it is that we're doing. doing, we try to make sure that they're a part of it. We work with different organizations whenever it is like Christmas time to make sure we know that they're making great grades and whatever it is that their passion is. So it's not just, okay, we're giving them a partial scholarship, but then it is that that's the end of it. We want to be a part of their lives. And most of them are entering into Standard 5 this year. So we're looking forward to graduation. And so for us, it's something continuous. And even being there that day where we had 2 staff members that came from our district, and they don't always get to be a part of our quarterly event. So having them come to be there and looking at their faces while it is that they're serving, it was like, it carries you throughout the day and throughout the week, knowing that you've offered of yourself to somebody else. And that is what we believe Grace Week here is all about.
Now, generally when you have corporate social corporate responsibility, people look at it and they see it more as something that the company does because they feel obligated to. But when you're looking at something, especially that has been around for a while, how do you keep the fire within your own employees to make sure that it does not become, I'm obliged to do this, and there's some kind of, reaction from them that they feel, really happy to be doing it?
Well, internally what we have is the Grace We Care Club, which is separate and apart from what the organization does as a company. But members contribute. So it's not just giving of your time, but giving financially as well. So each year, the We Care Club has to come up with the plans for the year. So these are the things we will do to get buy-in so that members can continue to contribute, and those who are contributing a certain amount to possibly look at increasing what they're contributing. And in all of that, then it becomes a part of you. It's not just, one Saturday out of the month or out of the quarter I have to go out and do X as a group because the company wants us to. It's because you're tied into it. It's not just going out and giving time, but you're giving of yourself. So if you're investing into that initiative, you want to see it prosper. And our employees keep us in check because we've had a year pass where we've not provided all the reports to them to say, this is how your money was spent, these are the initiatives that were successfully completed, and so that report had to go to them at the end of the year. And so come this year now, they want to see, okay, so what are the new plans? What are we going to do this year? And then they can select which initiatives are, tie into what they believe, and then they participate in those.
You pointed out your relationship with Salvation Army and their feeding program, but you're also working with other organizations throughout the year as well, where you have a sustained relationship. Let's talk about that.
For the time being, the only other places that I would say that we really do work with is some of the schools where we would offer, do like competitions and stuff like that, and then we offer products to their school. And it is sometimes difficult for us to be able to say we're going to be able to contribute to bigger organizations, because in the end it is really, it costs a lot. And like I said, we don't like to start something and not be able to continue with it. And so we have a lot of course, donations that we do throughout the year. Marcelo is a part of the donations committee, and the amount of letters that come in, and we'd love to help everybody. We also do where persons would like donations of canned goods, where we put a box in our little kitchenette, and then we have staff be able to bring items, and then we match it from Grace Kennedy portion. And again, here it's because we want that whatever comes out of Grace Kennedy, it's not just corporate. It is, the staff, the team members that become a part of it. We have, like, for Cancer Month, Cancer Awareness Month, where we do contributions. You have your pink day and you pay whatever you want to contribute, and that goes to the Belize Cancer Society. And we get creative with it, like we said, because we don't want people to feel like, oh, I'm going to donate $1. We want them to donate as much as they possibly can.
Now, we're talking about how people can get the calendars, but What are your favorite recipes from it?
Let's talk about. I've been eyeing some already, so let's talk about. Have you sampled all of them?
Well,
course,
we had to do
all the
everything.
For the photographs, yeah.
For the
You see where
calendar.
And to
Marcella
test.
ended?
So Marcelo, I told
Best
you
month in the year, you know.
that if I try this recipe and it doesn't taste so hot, can I blame it on my cooking skills or your recipe?
We'd have to go through and figure out what you did and what was missing. And, no, but we've tested all the recipes to make sure that in fact you're going to get the best product at the end of the day once you've followed the recipe and of course use the right ingredients.
Okay. So your favorite is your own
Of
recipe,
course.
the Grace white pasta,
Well, when we
which
were
includes
doing
Caribbean.
yes.
Interesting.
When we were doing the sampling, we had persons mention actually the used cupcake because someone said, okay, but we had done used pancakes. Yes, it was used pancakes, and now we're to the cupcakes. And it actually tastes really, really great. And the thing with use and a lot of the other recipes that we have is you can actually get creative about it. We can tell you to use, beat the blackberry and the strawberry, but you can decide, okay, I want to use the pina colada and the apple, which won't give you the color, but it'll give you the taste. And this also comes back to spending time with your family in the kitchen because you could actually have a raffle with the kids. Okay, what are your favorite, what's your favorite use? Put it in a little container, pick it out, and this is the one that we're going to be able to make today. So,
And your recipe, of course, for November.
of course, which is not my birthday, but for Garifuna Settlement Day. Actually, I went with the
Pronounce
Grento.
The what?
Grento.
I was trying to get you to say it.
Sorry, you can still try, William.
Yeah, it's too late now.
Yeah.
So it's the Grento, and it's actually the right plantain porridge. And of course, we gracify it. And I tell persons you can do it the traditional way, but for me, it is all about ensuring that we keep the culture alive. And for my daughters, they might not like it how I used to have it. And so when I add the vanilla essence to it, and actually we do coloring to it and stuff, it makes it so much better for them. So.
All right, and you have more desserts. You have a tres leches there that
Yes.
seems very easy to be able to do. What has been the other favorite?
The corned beef soup, which came
Yeah,
from
I
Everalda
saw that.
Palace.
I was going to talk about that.
So the corned beef soup, really, really great. The flavors that go into it. And we've heard about beef soup. And so again, because you can have a kind of braised corned beef in your locker that you can just throw in it as a part of your pot. Oh, you just reminded me. If you flip over, William, we have the sauces.
Yeah,
One page
three
over.
sauces you can make.
Yeah.
So those are 3 sauces that you can actually incorporate as a part of your meal, or you can have it like as a dipping sauce. Now these sauces were actually done by Louis Riverol and of course our resident chef, Chef Dwayne. So those are great sauces you can use. And this year, normally we have the perforation in the center. This year, it actually perforates down at the bottom, and so your recipe booklet then becomes, let me just fold this here. So you'll be tearing off this portion here, and then you'll end up with this portion as your recipe booklet. So that's another change that we had this year.
And it continues to be in full color.
Yes, of course. Of course, this year our printing was done by Norman's Printing, and so we stay in the country of Belize for us to be able to ensure that as a Belizean company, we do our printing here.
Now, another thing is, of course, you have when you are coming on to open your
Yes,
eyes.
yes.
There's a calendar icon there
Yes.
to indicate that as well.
Yes.
So people will never have to miss the latest recipe.
because
Never miss
we
that pigtail barbecue pigtail.
the end of the year, right? Because until we get to every Friday on Open Your Eyes, then sometimes people might miss, were you guys on last week or are you going to be on this week? So it makes it so much easier. So it's right there on your calendar throughout the year.
Nice.
And then one final thing for this year's calendar is that it is going to be uploaded on our website and Facebook in a Spanish version for our consumers as well.
Yes. Thanks, Marcel.
So people can, so anybody can be able
the
to
scroll
access
is still running. Just to remind everyone that you can text Grace Calendar to 47223 if you're a smart customer, or 1010293 if you're a digital customer. And I just wanted to sneak in because I told Marcelo we're doing our launch, but we're starting our new consumer promotion for 2016 today. Because as much as we have our calendar that we offer to consumers, we have our calendar that we need to ensure that we're keeping or giving back to our consumers likewise. So our first promotion is actually what we ended off with last year, which was a milks promotion. And we're doing it this year, but adding on the Grace Week here portion, for which you will write your name, address, the store that you bought your milk in, telephone number, and the name of your love. Now we say the name of your love because it doesn't have to be your partner. It can be your sister because you love your sister, your cousin, your neighbor again. Marlene could put William if she likes. And it's to have people know that it is not just, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship for you to love somebody. And also maybe you and your partner already share something, and so you want to offer it to someone who doesn't have as much as both of you. And the prize will be $500 for yourself and $250 for your love. And that will be done one per district. And because if I win something, I might decide to share it with Marcella. But if I have Marcella's name on there and then we do the raffle and Marcella's name comes up, I'm actually saying that this is the person I want to commit to give what would be, because if you got the $750, you could do a lot more with it than $500 for me and $250 for Marcella.
All right.
I like that. Give it to a loved one.
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, obviously, with all the initiatives that you have, do you all plan out for the entire year as well?
From last year, July, we had to have our plans, and then we tweak, and by the end of November, we know what it is that we want to do. But of course, whatever comes up throughout the year, we try to bring it back in. But brainstorming at Grace Kennedy is really crazy. You know, a lot of ideas and thinking outside the box and everything.
See, there's that think tank.
And so is there cooking at work too?
Of course. That's how we know Marcella is an excellent cook. And
It happens almost on a daily basis. We even have to take the smoke detector out of the kitchen.
We have a rice cooker and we have a blender. So, I mean, in the end, if there's anything that someone comes up with, and people come up with ideas, like we had the Caribbean rice, and it was like, I mean, is that gonna taste good? Well, we have to try it. And so to try it, you know, let's do it in-house. So.
Well, I don't see it in the calendar, so maybe.
No, that was last year. That was last year.
Of course, and you know, you have so many different product lines that you work with, and I think it's a great way for people to remember all the brands that are associated with Grace Kennedy.
Yes.
Anything else you want to give us a sneak preview of for the coming year? We know the promotion gets started, but
today. We will have our first show, which would be on the 15th of January. We're going to do our first show. And so again, we'll have Chef Dwayne, who will be along with us. We do, I mean, if there's anyone who would like to be a part of our show, they can feel free to use the same text numbers, let us know that they are interested to be a part of the show, and we'll contact you. So outside of that, we just want to remind everyone, you can text in to ensure that you get your 2 calendars. Let us know where you are, because it's going to be easier for us to be able to send your calendar to the district that you are in. Again, we have our account managers and merchandisers out district that are a part of the team. They work very, very hard out there, so we can send it to them and have them get it to you. Also, for persons who will be winning, we'll give you a call and let you know that you can come to pick it up wherever it is that we can send it to you. So.
All right. And is there any other way people can get calendars, or it's only through sending the text?
You can send in the text, and what we will be doing, we'll have specific areas throughout the country at certain stores where we'll post that up on Facebook and let you know where we will be at a certain time, so you can pick up your calendars. But that we'll be doing at the end of this week, because we want to give those who text a chance to be able to get the first calendars.
So once again, those text numbers are?
47223 if you're a smart customer, or 1010293 if you're a digital customer.
And you send your name and your location, and you get 2 great
calendars.
All right. Well, we want to thank you for joining us this morning and for debuting the Grace Creative Cooking Calendar with us. All right. All the
Thank
best.
you.
We'll see you again soon, I'm sure.
Of course.
We're going to go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about budgeting for 2016. So stay tuned.